Hello Pisces, it's good to see you again. I'm Elijah Keating from Wisdom Seekers for May 2018 Tarot Energy Forecast. Why not call it that? It's just as good a name as anything else I can think of. Hang on, I'll start with these cards. Well, we'll start with that card because it was there. All right. So protect the wild and the green. Well, let's see what that means, Pisces. Well, I suspect it means to protect that which is natural and that which is part of who you are. Because we are all one. And being one means that you look after yourself first, because that is part of the whole. And after you do that, you can reach out and help others. Okay, very interesting. So, the major arcana, the Wheel of Fortune, which is actually the Wheel of Time, and it's a card of elevation. You come to an end of a cycle, and just about every other sign has got the same general reading, is that it's an end of the cycle and new beginnings, and it's spring. It has a lot to do with that, but it means when the end of the cycle comes that we've just been through probably a lot of kimchi, and now it's time for us to elevate. Generally at the beginning of a new cycle, and I'm saying generally it's fairly good. And again, we've got this card, and this card means change, because it's a change card because of the swords. That's why I choose them as change cards. Otherwise, it's a young man who rushes in without thinking, and but in this case, I think it's a change, and it's a rash change. It's a change without thinking things through. But it's not horrible. It's also a card where you may not think things through, but you are supported. You are looked after. And the change, even though it's rash, will benefit you a great deal. And this is the goddess, or the angel, and she's looking up to the heavens, and I call it my joy card. And I have always said that true joy is spiritual, and to be truly spiritual, you are in a place of joy, and that's not all the time, and none of us can stay there all the time. Some of us can, some of us, if you're truly close to enlightenment, I'm sure it's a lot easier to stay close. And that's a major arcana. So it's got a bit more kick to it. And the next card is that of Ten of Swords. And yes, we've all had to overcome a lot of swords in the back, slings and arrows. But notice they're in the back, and they're heading towards the sun. They're heading towards a new day dawning. And this is the card, this is Strength card, and it's a card of rising above the lower nature. And what lower nature? You may be very highly evolved, so it might be the lower nature of a very highly evolved soul. So basically it means rising above where you have been. Exactly the same card as this, in a sense, but this is a cycle ending. This is not necessarily an end of a cycle. This is part of you that's rising above and taking on a stronger inner persona. So what does that mean? It means that you will notice and see the brighter things in life. That's a choice, of course, and you always have that choice. So she's the young lady, the Princess of Pentacles, is surrounded by beauty, and she's holding up a pentacle. So the inner child is looking for and searching for joy and beauty. In this case, more beauty than joy, unless you go back to the sun card. So you can have it both. You can have your cake and you can eat it too this time, because you've worked hard for it. And you've got a lot of major arcana. So 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcana. Wow, that's quite a few cards that are major arcana. So this card is a card of remaining in balance and being aware of where you go out of balance. It's also a card that tells you that when you get out of balance, which we all do, doesn't matter how highly evolved or how lowly evolved, we all do, that you can get back into balance because you've learned your balance point. You've learned your center of gravity. And it also says continue on doing what you're doing because it's working for you. Right? And so protect the wild and green. I have no idea what it means for this. I must not have listened very well. Let's see if I can figure it out. Okay, so we've come to an end of a cycle. Making a change, a little bit Don Quixote-esque, a little bit without thinking, but it's bringing us to joy and happiness. So what it's telling us is, do not forget your roots. Do not forget those who helped you, and they may have helped you in a negative way, and they may have helped you in a positive way, but don't forget them, because they made you who you are today. And they may have slung arrows at you, but you helped. But it was because of them you rose above. It brought you to a place of joy and beauty, and it taught you persistence. So don't forget your roots, or in this case, protect the wild and the green. And that would also, I'm going to also say, protect the earth. So as I sort of just described, seek the lesson, look for the lesson, embrace the lesson. And that can't be more appropriate for you, Pisces, or any of us. Embrace the lesson. Once we embrace the lesson moves much smoother and flows much better. So with that, I'm going to say adieu, Pisces, until next time. Namaste, namasko.